When someone you love dies today, here's what happens. A stranger in scrubs takes the body away. Someone else prepares it somewhere you'll never see. A funeral home handles the rest for a price you didn't expect, on a timeline you didn't choose. You see the body once, dressed and arranged by people you've never met, and then it's over. Most of us will go our entire lives seeing maybe a handful of dead bodies. Most of those will be in a hospital behind a curtain, already too late to do anything but say goodbye. For 99% of human history, that would have sounded insane. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies have a blunt way of putting it. For most of human history, dealing with death wasn't an event. It was a way of life. People didn't see death once or twice in a lifetime. They saw it constantly. Childbirth, hunting, disease, old age, all of it happening in the open, in front of everyone, including children. There was no somewhere else to send a body. No stranger whose job it was to handle it for you. If someone in your group died, you were there. You touched the body, you buried it or burned it, or in some cultures, you waited for it to skeletonize and carried the bones with you when your group moved on. This wasn't because ancient humans didn't grieve. The evidence says the opposite. In a cave in northern Israel called Hilazon Taktit, archaeologists found a grave that's about 12,000 years old. Inside was the body of a woman, arranged with extraordinary care, surrounded by 50 tortoise shells, the wing of a golden eagle, the pelvis of a leopard, the foot of a wild boar, and a human foot that wasn't her own. Researchers believe she may have been a shaman. Whoever buried her spent enormous time and effort making sure she was sent off exactly right. This is the pattern archaeologists keep finding over and over, going back over 100,000 years. Graves with flowers, beads, tools, red ochre pigment, things with no survival use, things that only make sense if you're trying to say something to someone who is gone. Ancient humans weren't less affected by death than we are. They were more exposed to it more often, and they built entire rituals, and possibly the earliest seeds of religion, around processing it together. So what changed? For most of history, death happened at home. You died in the bed you were born in, surrounded by family in the same room where meals were cooked. Mourning was loud, visible, and communal. Entire villages stopped what they were doing. That started disappearing about 100 years ago. As hospitals became the default place to be sick, they slowly became the default place to die too. By the middle of the 20th century, most deaths in the Western world had moved out of the home entirely and into institutions, first hospitals, later nursing homes, places built for treatment, not for grieving. At the same time, a new industry stepped in to handle everything that families used to do themselves: washing the body, preparing it, burying it. Sociologists have a name for what happened next. They call it the sequestration of death. The idea that modern society didn't just change how we handle death, it hid it, moved it behind closed doors, made it something other people deal with, somewhere else, so the rest of us never have to look at it directly. Here's what most people assume: that we got squeamish, that modern humans just can't handle death the way our ancestors could, that we're somehow softer. But that's not quite it. The truth is almost the opposite. We didn't hide death because we got weaker. We hid it because, for the first time in 300,000 years, we finally could. Medicine got good enough to put death somewhere else. Cities got big enough that you don't have to know your neighbors, let alone bury them. We built a world efficient enough that death could finally become someone else's job. It wasn't cowardice, it was convenience. But convenience came with a cost nobody priced in. Because here's the thing about hiding something for 100 years: you forget how to do it. We grew up in a world where most of us have never washed a body, never sat in a room while someone took their last breath, never told our kids the truth about what happens when someone dies, because nobody told us either. Therapists will tell you that one of the most common things people say in grief counseling today is some version of, "I don't know how to do this." Not because they don't feel grief, they feel it just as hard as anyone in any century, but because nobody showed them what to do with it. There's no ritual left, no village, no fire to sit around. Our ancestors didn't have therapy. They didn't need to ask, "How do I grieve?" The entire structure of their lives already answered that question for them. We didn't get worse at dying. We got better at almost everything else, and death just got left behind.